Welcome to the Life Beyond Bounds podcast. I'm your host, Nicki Herd-Walker. On this podcast, I give advice and insights that help you go beyond your comfort zone to embrace life as your greatest adventure, beyond geographical boundaries to explore the world without limits, beyond the confines of the norm to live life on your terms, and even beyond your current limits to unlock a life that is bold, adventurous, and genuinely fulfilling. Together, let's create your life beyond bounds. Welcome back to the Life Beyond Bounds podcast. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, the only constant in life is change. It essentially means that everything is in a state of flux and nothing is permanent, which is a fundamental aspect of being human. We are always evolving and growing personally, with our values and our desires shifting with each stage of our lives. Along with that, our external environment and our relationships also change. But here's the problem I see with many of my friends and clients, people who are successful, highly capable, and have built impressive lives on paper. At some point, they begin to ignore their shifting values or suppress the pull they feel towards something different. Instead of embracing change, they cling to their comfort zones and to perceived safety nets that have worked for them in the past. They don't stop changing or dreaming, but they start resisting it or suppressing it, especially the further down the path of success they are. If they've spent years climbing a corporate ladder, they begin clinging to it, to what they've built, rather than continuing to listen to those nudges from their soul that got them there in the first place. Their values continue shifting, but their life is no longer shifting with them. There are many reasons why we begin resisting change, which I'm going to cover in my next episode. But for now, I want to talk about what happens when what you value and what most shifts as you continue to grow and evolve, but you're holding on to the life you have, resisting change, or feeling the pull toward more and ignoring it. You get out of alignment with your authentic self. You can think of the pull of your soul like your inner compass. It's always quietly pointing you toward your true north. It doesn't yell, it doesn't force, but it's consistent. It knows where alignment lives for you, even if you've stopped paying attention. Meanwhile, your values, which naturally shift as you grow and evolve, are like the GPS. They help determine the specific destination for this stage of your life. In your 20s, your GPS might have been set toward proving yourself in a career. Now it might be pointing toward freedom, time, purpose, or deeper relationships, or more amazing experiences and memories. But here's the problem. If your GPS is updated, meaning your values have changed, but you're still living according to an old route, then you start to feel off course. Add to that the fact that most people have stopped checking the compass entirely, that quiet inner knowing, and you end up drifting, frustrated, lost, and that's what it feels like to be out of alignment. You keep moving, but it doesn't feel like progress. You have everything you thought you wanted, but it no longer fits. You're making decisions based on an outdated map, while your compass keeps nudging. This isn't it anymore. When you're in alignment, you are in flow. You're present, fulfilled, and content. Think about the last time you wanted something in life that you went after and achieved or created. Maybe it was a different job. For a while, that felt fulfilling, right? You were present, you're content, you're more energized by life. Then over time, something has shifted. The job becomes less fulfilling. Your values shift. You are ready for more growth or another challenge, or you feel the pull towards something completely different that you've always wanted to be able to do, like travel full-time with your family. But now you're resisting that pull or ignoring those shifting values. Your job pays well. It covers the mortgage of that new house you bought and the new car and your kids' schooling, right? So do you really have anything to complain about? No. So you should just suck it up and be grateful, right? Well, yes and no. Should you be grateful? Absolutely. Gratitude is essential to a life well lived, and there is a lot to be grateful for. But should you just suck it up and stay put? That's up to you to decide. Misalignment with your authentic self creates friction, internally, emotionally, and even physically. At first, it might just feel like restlessness. You're distracted, you're irritated, you start fantasizing about other lives. You feel a low-level dissatisfaction with things that used to make you happy. You might even feel guilt for not being more grateful. But beneath all of that, your soul is speaking and your ego is silencing it. Your soul operates through trust and expression. When you repeatedly suppress its guidance, you erode the trust between your inner knowing and your actions. It's not that your soul stops trusting you like a friend might stop trusting you or some person would. It's that you stop hearing it as clearly. It becomes easier to rationalize, to numb, to distract. And the more you ignore it, the quieter that voice becomes in your life. That internal tension between what your soul knows and what your ego permits is what creates the feeling of being stuck, off, unfulfilled, or constantly searching for more, but not knowing what that more actually is. On a deeper level, you're experiencing a conflict of integrity. It's not moral integrity, but self-integrity, the alignment between what you know to be true for you and how you're living. When those don't match, it's like trying to walk with one foot on the gas and one on the brake. You waste energy, you burn out, and you don't go anywhere. The longer you stay out of alignment with what you truly value and want most for this stage of your life, ignoring or suppressing those nudges you feel, or agitation, frustration, dissatisfaction, unfulfillment you feel, the more those negative feelings intensify. What started as a gentle nudge can turn into a scream. And that's when your mental health begins to decline. You begin complaining more, and your relationships can even start to feel strained. You turn up at happy hour, needing that bottle of wine, and you have to unload on your girlfriends about your week from hell. Instead of living an inspired, action-oriented life where you're continuously creating, like your life is your greatest piece of art. Not listening to those nudges or continuing to grow and evolve as your soul knows you're meant to creates a situation where you're living with one foot in the life that you have now and one foot out. And in my opinion, this is the worst way to live. Here's why this is so important. When you're living with one foot in the life you have and one foot out, you're essentially robbing yourself twice. You're robbing yourself of joy and fulfillment right now because you're never fully present or engaged with the life that you've created. And you're also robbing yourself of the excitement, hope, and anticipation that comes from actually pursuing a dream, taking action, and moving towards something that lights you up. When you're living with one foot in the life you have and one foot out, your attention is divided. Your energy is scattered, and you're caught in this uncomfortable limbo. Maybe you're in this space in between right now with one foot in the life you have and one foot out. And here's the hard truth. Sitting on the fence doesn't protect you from making the wrong decision. It actually guarantees you'll feel stuck, restless, and dissatisfied. Because when you don't fully commit to either embracing the life you have now or courageously stepping toward a new dream, you remain trapped in this constant state of dissatisfaction. So, here's my challenge for you today. It's time to decide. Option 1, fully embrace the life that you've created. Decide to put your bigger dreams aside for now. Not permanently, but intentionally choosing gratitude and appreciation for everything that's good and meaningful about the life that you have. This doesn't mean giving up. It means consciously focusing on the parts of your current life that genuinely fulfill you, and then making smaller adjustments to how you're using your biggest resources, your time, money, and focus, to feel more aligned in the life that you have right now. It might mean creating more space for joy, connection, or simple pleasures within the structure you already have. Or option 2, decide that it's time to go for it. Listen fully to the pull of your soul and start taking intentional, concrete steps toward making your dream a reality. Yes, there's risk and uncertainty in this option, but there's also excitement, hope, and the kind of energy that makes you feel truly alive. This option means saying yes to growth, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it means letting go of familiar comforts, because the reward, which is living fully aligned with your values and turning your bigger aspirations into reality, is so worth it. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to everyone you love to live your life fully engaged, fully present, and truly fulfilled, which means making a decision and getting off the fence. You want both feet firmly in the life you have, or both feet walking you toward the one that you want. This isn't the type of decision where you hand in your notice on your job tomorrow or sell your home without a plan. It simply means making a conscious decision. Either take your dream off the back burner and start moving toward it, or intentionally fall back in love with the life that you've already built. It's about making an internal, non-negotiable decision that this thing you want will become your reality, and then feeling the energy and clarity that decision brings, or deciding it won't, at least for now, and falling fully in love with the life you've already built, knowing it's enough for this season. There have been a few times my values shifted, and it took me a little while to shift my life with them. I think that that's normal. It takes you a little bit of catch-up time. So first, I shared in my last episode, 4 years out of college, working very good job, but feeling like there has to be more to life than this. Once I made an internal non-negotiable decision that I was going all in and allowing my soul's curiosity to lead, I was living and working in Germany within 6 months. But I'd already spent 1.5 years thinking about it. Then, living in the UAE, my husband and I both had great jobs and great friends. When we started to feel the pull toward having a family, I knew I wanted to be able to own my time. I didn't want to commit so much time to an employer and miss out on being with the family that I was creating or wanted to create. I noticed that I got increasingly frustrated with my job, which before that had been great for 3.5 years. No real complaints. Little things started to get under my skin as my soul was nudging me with what ifs. But we were making very good money. Our apartment was paid for, our phones were paid for, and one of our cars was paid for by our employers. And on top of that, we loved our lifestyle there. I worked for the tourism authority, so I got free tickets to things like Formula One, big name concerts that came through, Gourmet Abu Dhabi. By the way, Abu Dhabi should probably sponsor this podcast because I genuinely love Abu Dhabi. And if you haven't been yet, you should go. So all of that was very hard to give up. So we held on longer, which made us more agitated because our souls were pulling us in another direction. What we valued had shifted, but letting go to leap was hard. Then the third time that I felt this misalignment was when we had been living in Ohio for 5 years in a very good traditional lifestyle. We were living the life we thought we should have, but not a life that lit us up. It did for a while. It definitely matched what our values were at that time when I was giving birth to our second child, things like that. That life was very fulfilling to us for several years. But when we started to feel the shift in our values and that pull toward more, we suppressed it because we thought we should just be content. We were grateful for it all. And we had 2 young kids. There were so many reasons to just stay. But in the end, we opted for fulfillment and turning our biggest aspirations into reality. And that's when we pivoted again to starting an online business and traveling full-time as a family. But in between feeling the nudges and actually making the decision to pivot was nearly 2 years. And those were increasingly tough. We were living with one foot in the life we had and one foot out for too long, which is what I want to help you avoid. Each time we pivoted, and I'm so grateful for the life that it's given us. The things we have been able to experience, the life that we've built, the connection we have with our kids, the amount of memories we share, I can't even begin to count. And to think I would have missed out on all of this if I had stayed because life was good. And if I was too afraid to make the pivot or to claim the more that my soul knew I was meant to have or to experience in this lifetime. It's easy to see what you would give up if you are living a very good life but feeling pulled toward more. But it's nearly impossible to know all that you would gain. For that, you have to have the courage to just go and see. Remember, you are not stuck unless you choose to stay stuck. You have so much power in your choices, and clarity comes from action. Even small steps can shift your whole trajectory. I'm going to try that one again. If you are feeling stuck, off, unfulfilled, feeling those nudges for change, but you feel yourself resisting, clinging to your comfort zone or perceived safety net, opting to suppress your bigger aspirations for what is known, you won't want to miss the next episode. I'm going to dive into all the reasons that you may be resisting change. There's a lot here to uncover to help you unlock your best life. So be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss it. Until then, commit this week to making an internal, non-negotiable decision which direction you're heading so that you stop living with one foot in the life you have now and one foot out. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, I totally appreciate being able to spend this time with you. Life is your greatest adventure, and it's an honor to be part of your journey.